All right, top of the morning, everyone. Happy Friday. It's November 14th. NQ gapping down again this morning into last week's low, 24,700. So, honestly, makes it pretty easy for us this morning. Primarily just want to see how is price going to be responding to the 24,700. That's going to be the main focus, the main watch for this morning. If we can see a bounce, if we can see buyers step in to defend this point, I'll be looking at price moving back into 24,800 and then potentially a gap fill up into prior day low in the 25K level of interest and psychological level. Now, if buyers fail here, if we don't see a bounce versus the 24,700, I'll be looking at the 500 zone that you can see on the chart, or market structure post 10 a.m., or simply taking a cash day. So that's the game plan for this morning. 24,700 main focus. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Keeps it clean. Gabe started your onboarding for the futures desk. Nice, man. Congrats. That's great. Yeah, those professional fees, they stack them up. That's for sure. It's a bummer they won't let you go as non-professional. Very active overnight session. Look at the volume. So we have really good volume all through that pre-market and overnight session. Let me see the profile. Yeah, volume point of control is right down here at 734. Can I please explain my setup and trailing stop loss method? I trade a handful of different setups, but they're all based on market structure. And then my trailing method is based on the conviction I have in the setup. So if it's high conviction, it has looser management, and then I use microstructure to trail. If it's a more aggressive entry with lower conviction, then the management is much tighter, relying less on microstructure and more of a bar by bar approach. All right, less than 1 minute till the open. Good luck, everyone. Follow your rules, respect your process, stay disciplined. It's Friday. Don't need to be a hero to close out the week. 24,700 main focus. There's your opening print at 722. It's kind of checking out the structure here near last week's low, that 700 area. Overnight low 657. No interest down at the overnight low for me personally. Very similar to what we discussed yesterday in the coaching call, the TMG coaching call after the close. If you caught that or you caught the recording, you will understand why. Here's your overnight low. So it's pretty much hands off for me until above 700 or down into 500 area, 200 points lower. Look at that gap. Wow. Yeah, ES also threw the overnight low there. Last week's low is at 66.55 for ES. Back into 700. Coming into session highs. Look at that 15-minute. And just shy of 800 now. Good volatility. Love to see it. There's 24,800. Nice, Gabe. ES coming back into the 6,700 level of interest. We'll see how the 800 here is going to be treated, but so far that main level is holding 24,700, last week's low. Structures are quite wide right now, even these micro structures. So make sure you're double checking risk points, double checking position sizing. Opening 15-minute bar closes here in 3 minutes. Quite bullish so far. Look at that. Little consolidation here near 800. With ES bumping into the 6,700 level of interest as well. VWAP is up there at, what is that, 860, call it? For 2-hour trader, APT does all my 2-hour trader trading now. But as far as what you're asking, typically I would not be using it in this context before 10 a.m. on a potential gap fill idea. Gabe, you're already out of here? Nice work, man. Sheesh. Well done. NQ main target right now is, as far as the structure is concerned, is prior day low. So we'll see if we get the continuation up into that area. ES is up and through 6,700, testing VWAP. RTY is already into prior day low. Tom, light size at 24,800. I'm with you. I'm with you there, Tom. All right, Gabe, take care, man. Have a great weekend, sir. We'll see you next week. I'm trimming into 90. Come on, show me 90. Let me trim. There we go. Going for 25K. Trail's down near the entry. I'm just giving this thing maximum amount of room. This is going to be a one and done day. Main man, absolutely. 2-hour trader framework is still totally valid. I have it fully automated now. Autopilot trader trades the 2-hour trader framework. Still a very good market edge. What I was saying earlier to Josh is that I don't trade it discretionarily because I've automated it. That was my goal over these next few years, is to automate more of my strategies, so I can unshackle myself from this damn desk. But there's a lot that goes into automation, so it's a work in progress. All right, NQ on the runners here. Trails down at 809. If we can see price give a micro higher low near this 900, I'll lift the trail. But ultimately, I just want to give this maximum breathing room until 10 a.m. At 10 a.m., I'm going to be more aggressive with the trail. The target's 25K. Tom trailed out solid. Nice trade, man. Well done. That's still, what'd you get? 100 points on the best exit? 90 points, maybe? All right, Tom, take care. Trimmed at 900. Nice. Yeah, that's a good morning right there. Okay, so NQ coming back into the high. So if we see a session high here, I'm going to lift the trail to about, we'll call it 849, utilizing the microstructure. Yeah, basically into the highs here. So I'm going to lift the trail right now. If my chart will stop moving. And trail's at 848.5. I'm going to toss an order out just ahead of 25K. So we'll go 249.89, 10 points out of 25K. Once we see 24,950, I'm going to lift the trail to about 910. Or as price gets closer and closer to your target, the risk to reward becomes asymmetrical in a negative way, becomes unfavorable. You don't want to give back 100 points for an additional 20 points of upside. So things we got to think about. Especially with our proximity to 10 a.m. now. Okay, so new high here. That gives me a good spot to lift. Let's see if we get the new high. All right, I'm bringing it into 903. Momentum is slowing a little bit. The autopilot trader trades whatever size you want in multiples of 3. NQ new high. I'm going to lift the trail a little bit more. 911.5. Or it gets to be a little bit of an art form here with the trail. So right now my trail is 30 points from current price, and I'm targeting another 40 points of upside. We'll see if the trail gets taken out. This value area high, the overnight sesh. So you got some sellers interested there. Five minutes till 10 a.m. Yeah, good volume. Definitely good volume. Momentum starting to slow a little bit, at least compared to earlier. You have a lot of structure in this zone from the overnight sesh. Still think we can hit the 25K into 10 a.m. Let's see. Show me a new high. I'm in a trail 930. Not quite there. Come on. A little bit more. Nope. If you look at your 5 minutes, a good way to kind of visualize the momentum starting to slow. All right, there's your new high. I'm trailing 927. And again, I have an order out at what was it, 990 basically. Yeah, I got a trail tighter now. So trailing 940. Oh, almost got taken right there. 938.75. One more push and I'm there for the ultimate target at 25K. What a move. A little tricky with the sweep of the overnight low. Yeah, I'll probably get trailed right here. Oh, 1 to 2 ticks away. Okay. Still in. Still in this. Two minutes till 10 a.m., just FYI. It's just flirting with that 940. There it is. Trailed out. Trailed out. Wow. Best day of the week. I got to cancel that order I had up there. Take profit. Okay. Thanks, PJ. Was good. Aligned with the plan. I would have preferred to have entered near 700, but I did not see an entry there. And then I ruled out the overnight low spring setup. P&L the weekly, that's today. That's today using this trade copier, new trade copier I'm trying out. It's been solid. It's been much better than my experience with Trade Syncer, which was terrible. Sadly, it had potential, but for my style of trading, just did not work. A mod 50K account. I assume you're talking about a prop account. I'd go no more. Personally, I'd go no more than 8 micros in a lower volatility environment. So right now, probably 5 to 6 micros max on NQ. That is. All right, there's 10 a.m. Nasdaq just shy of the prior day low and 25K level of interest. The main move this morning, pretty much complete. We're looking at 24,700, and if it could hold as support, targeting the 25K. We end up seeing an undercut of the overnight low, which is a setup I really like, just not in the current circumstance. So I ruled that one out today, and that ends up marking the low. And that's what I was talking about yesterday afternoon. If you're in the TMG coaching call, it's like sometimes you roll out a setup, it's going to work. And that's part of the game as a trader. You got to be comfortable with the decisions you make and not letting them get an emotional rise out of you. So I'll tell you, years prior, I make a decision to pass on any given trade, and then I see it end up working, and Starts to trigger FOMO. You start to chase higher. You get frustrated. And we all know how that ends. Now there's a waiting game. Staying patient here. More than likely, we'll not put on more exposure today, but let's see how the rest of this first hour unfolds. Session volume point of control shifted higher, 948. Jacob, you catch that long, man? Nicely done. Like the like the full port shirt? Oh man. Yeah, it's fun. Well done, sir. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you Monday. NQ retesting the highs. Just shy of prior day low. That would have hit my target. I had that order out at, I think I had it out at 89. That have hit it? No, not quite. Not quite. So far, pretty happy with my trail there. Not always happy with my trails, but so far pretty happy with that one. Where the trade started from, the 800. I don't know if you can see the little blue triangle there on the execution screen, but that's the entry. The 24,800 level of interest, microstructure based entry. Main idea this morning was based on the 24,700 last week low, whether or not it could hold. My preference would have been for an entry at 700, but there was nothing I could work with there, just per my playbook. So just wait for the next entry that aligns with the higher time frame idea, which was if 24,700 can hold, more than likely we'll trade up into 25K, at least until 10 a.m. And so far, that is almost perfectly what has happened. So the easier trade of the morning, if you ask me, is complete. Now, I really want action like above prior day low, above 25K if I were to get involved again, or honestly back down into last week's low, 24,700. Not much I want to do anywhere else. But that's also based on nailing my main play for the morning. Don't really want to press the gas on a Friday after a trade like that. And Q volume remains really good. But right now, just kind of entering some consolidation here. A little bit of a pullback now. %50 fib perfectly aligns with the 800 level of interest. If you're still looking for some trades this morning, might be worth keeping an eye on. Josh, if you're still here, there it was. My APT trades the 5-minute PJ, so unlikely. NQ back into highs. There's your target if you're in from VWAP. That's like the dream move right there, just vertical. Straight to target. No traffic. No red lights. See if we get a new high. There's your new high of day. A 135. Yep. Exactly. 120, was that 120 points? My goodness. Yeah, wow. Sheesh. These structures are, man. That's why I always say that trading view at least does such a good job of, if you have the auto scaling on, just rescaling the chart, fools your eyes a little bit. Main man full chart setup is here. I'll post a link for you. I'm gonna give it 10 more minutes and call it. Pretty much have no intention to place another trade, so ES is bumping into the 6730 level of interest. If RTY is kind of bumping into prior date low. Gold, nice bounce on GC from that 40-20 area. Are the gold traders in the room? It's pretty nice. Pretty nice bounce. Let's check on the S&P. So S&P, a little bit stronger than NQ, just keeping with the theme. Remember, ES was breaking the structure earlier in the week, and on this sell has not cracked last week's low. So tech is pretty heavy. Also, we have Russell, RTY. RTY maybe a larger structural breakdown underway here. I'll have to see how this 4-hour hammer resolves. And good old NQ. Yeah, pretty nice. pretty nice. Swept last week's low. We get a 4-hour hammer. Question is, can it show any follow through into late morning and this afternoon? Our buyers could not get above 800 earlier this week. It was that resistance zone. And then yesterday, we see a near term range breakdown, trend day lower, gap lower, sweep that low. Now here we are. Very much just still within that prior. That was like a 2-month range. So let's see, September. I mean, really from when that the contract rollover, yeah. September. Oh, that was when I was off the charts for a couple weeks. Into about a little more than a month. About 5 weeks. APT runs 4 a.m., 4 a.m. to 4 or 4:30 a.m. to 4:05 p.m. 12 hours. Yeah, ET, of course. Of course. Always use Eastern time. Regardless of where you live. Speaking Eastern time. All right, 5 more minutes. Then I'm going to call it a morning. How's everyone's morning so far? How we doing? Good end to the week, hopefully. Main man, I did a big video on APT about version 2. Let me see if I could find it. Basically any of my recent videos, main man, if you're looking to learn more about APT, but specifically I did one about the version 2 update, which has a lot of info. Yeah, I think this is it right here. Let me post the link for you. There it is. So that one goes over a lot of the back testing, time frames, things of that nature. Christina Green, Mike Red, Dean 1 for 2 green, good risk management. Dean. PJ 1-1, long from last night. Hopefully long from this morning, not last night. Kevin Green, Rick Green, nice. NQ new high of day. True test the prior day low there. One green, one red. All good. Rob Green, nice. Nothing wrong with losses as long as they're planned losses, controlled losses. I mean, a loss can still be a good trade. Never forget. Never forget that. A lot of people grade their trades based on green or red. That is not the right way to do it. A good trade can still end in a loss. It's fine. So look at that NQ 4 hour showing a little follow through here. This morning's game plan continues to work. What I'll be looking at late morning, truth be told, I'm more than likely not going to put on any more exposure today. But if you guys are looking for additional trades, what I would be looking at is how price responds to this prior day low 25K area and whether or not buyers can sustain above this point to trade into 115, maybe even the overnight high. The near term structure, this is where it gets kind of tricky because near term structure is bearish, right? But the sell has hit its target down here at last week's low, and now we're starting to see some buying activity. So just care if you're trying to fade this move, just be careful. I'm going to call it a day there. Thank you guys for your time. We hammered that NQ long at 800. I would have preferred an entry at 700, but no structure there. So we wait for the next entry. We nailed 150 points or so, give or take 5 or 10 points. So really happy to end the week with that. Best trade of the week for me personally. And a one and done on a Friday. We'll be live every day next week. Have a great weekend. Get some review done. Spend 15, 20, 30 minutes at least just kind of going over your week. It's a useful exercise, even if you had a tough week. A lot of people don't want to review when they have a tough week because it forces you to look in the mirror. It forces you to look at, your results or lack thereof. But that's where the growth is. I'm going to post a video later today on YouTube about trade review. It's kind of a boring video, but if you're serious about improving your craft, I recommend watching it. So, anyway, that's a wrap. Have a great weekend, everyone, and we will see you on Monday. Take care.